What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledPeople. Alright, this story's called My Daughter Saw Her First Live Karen. My daughter, 13, male. Wait, huh? Megan, I'm assuming. I was like, you can't have a male daughter. Wait, that's not me saying trans peeps ain't there. Trans peeps, you there. You acknowledged. You respected and appreciated and loved and a bunch of other positive and vague verbs. I was just confused at like what looked like a contradiction of language. Anyway, Megan ran into the Milk Royal and stood in line behind a couple. This is her story, as told to me. Here's the cast. My daughter, Megan. Karen. Decent dude. The second half of this couple. Cashier. Megan walked into the Milk Royal with a short list. She stood behind the couple and watched as decent dude ordered. You know those little display cases they have for their gift cards? Karen is living up the gift cards and stuffing them into her pockets. After lifting at least 20 of these cards are free, right? Cashier looks surprised and glances at his screen before responding, no ma'am, you have to pay for it. Karen, looking smug as if prepared for the fight, and where does it say that? It doesn't even have a price. You have to say if it's not free. Apparently this had happened before. Decent dude flipped. What are you, stupid? Of course you have to pay for them. They had to pay for the cards. You have to pay too, stupid bimbo. The fight was on. They yelled at each other. The cashier stood frozen. A manager tried to offer free ice cream but was turned down. Until finally, the man stormed out. Profanities! Stop staring! Just give me my food! I know she didn't actually say profanities, but it's italicized, so I have to say it in like vaguely Latin-esque accent. As she gets all her food set on the counter, she throws the gift cards at the cashier, grabs her bag, and leaves, still yelling. Megan said she was so upset, but that she knew if she had said anything, the woman would have hit her. She did not want to get into a physical altercation. As we drove away, I walked her through how to make a phone call to the police in this situation. You'd say, I am Megan. I'm at the Milk Royal on 3rd, and there is a woman harassing the employees. I'm beginning to fear for their safety. This is a white woman, 50-ish years old. Ha! White woman, Milk Royal, figures. Megan says, could you see what was happening? How'd you know she was white? How'd you know how old she was? I could only chuckle. That's funny. I'm glad OP was able to infer how, just exactly what kind of demographic we're dealing with, causing a disturbance at Milk Royal. What even is Milk Royal? Sounds like British propaganda. I will not have them imperialize my milk! Someone get Alex Jones on this. I need our best men. Good job on Megan, though, for keeping her chill, and not getting hurt. Alright? You know what they say, don't be a hero, because, wait, who would want you to not be a hero? No one, other than a villain. Alright, this story's called Can You Even Speak German? Obligatory on mobile. Also, English is not my first language. Not my story, but my sister's, so I'm not 100% sure about the exact words. Also, if the story doesn't fit here, please remove it. Background. So, my older sister works for our national retirement insurance. She got married to her husband in 2018. Her husband's ancestors, like great-grandparents, were Hungarian refugees that came to Germany after World War II. Her husband still has that Hungarian family name, so now my sister has it too. This story took place shortly after she got married. Also, she works for customer service some days a month. This happened on one of those days. So my sister doesn't like telephone duty since, in her words, only people who don't want to inform themselves call, with the most stupid questions. So this lady called her. She was one of her clients friends for a while now. Also, neither my sister's first name nor voice changed, obviously. The entitled lady had a question. Oh my god, I just realized something. We're gonna have like off-planet based customer service, like, eventually. Like when we eventually colonize like the atmosphere of Venus or like the inside of Mars. We're eventually gonna have branches of companies there instead of having to deal with the insane latency. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's not relevant. Hello, German Retirement Insurance, Sarah Zorba, fake name, speaking.
Hello, this is XY.
Good day, Mrs. XY. How can I help you?
I got a letter from you I don't understand.
What does the letter say?
I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. I hoped you could tell me directly.
Yes, it was one of those colors. My sister says they're sadly quite common. Well, then open it, read it, and call again if you have questions.
But you have to help me.
And I will, once I know what the letter says and what exactly you need help with. She starts swearing at sis, ending with the words,
"Why is someone like you even employed by our government? You probably couldn't even help me anyways. Are you even able to speak and understand German?"
I can't help you, ma'am. Please call again when you're ready to treat me like a human being. Have a nice day. She hung up. My sister is lucky, since she is a government-employed agent, which in Germany means you can't be fired unless you commit a crime bad enough to give you a, I think, 1-year prison sentence. Otherwise, you can only be transferred to another job. So she is free to tell people in a polite, professional manner to go love themselves. Oh, I love me some, decent dominion when it comes to the handling of poopy customers and such. It's what you get when you combine stuff with such. Man, I should be an inventor. I just gotta figure out what such is. What does that look like? By the way, I'm kinda second guessing my use of the word dominion. I was trying to say authority, but I didn't want to say authority because that's like the obvious word to use. So I was just like, dominion, while being unsure if it's the correct way to use it. Alright, this story's called Homophobic Carrot. I had previously written on this subreddit about getting mistaken for an employee while out shopping with my boyfriend. You can read about that experience here. I'm of average height, weight, slender, in my late 30s, but can pass for mid-20s, and am very obviously gay. This is partially relevant to the story. I've been in a relationship with my partner for almost 2 years. A little over 8 months ago, me and the other half made the decision to move in together. Prior to that, I lived with roommates and had been in the military. I had just dropped the last of my items that were stored at my mother's house in my old bedroom at the apartment when I saw the fridge needed restocking. The 2 grocery chains that I used to shop at are not available in my current area of residence. So I bit the bullet and went to that Helmuth, I'm assuming, like Plymouth, Helmuth, or is it Hellmouth? I hope it's Hellmouth, that's a cool ass word. Hellmuth of retail establishment I shall refer to as Malwart. Let's call it Malwart. There aren't enough words to express how much I despise this place. Someone's not getting sponsored. Unfortunately, it is one of the only affordable places within a reasonable distance from my new residence. Whether I like it or not, it really has everything we could possibly need. My shopping trip wardrobe was a sky blue message t-shirt that read, "You are the Monday of my life." Cut off, torn, faded blue jean shorts, beat up running shoes, and a custom-made face mask with my dog's picture on it. To anyone with more than half a brain, I looked nothing like a Malwart associate. I was in the produce section minding my own business, trying to decide between red or yellow onions, when a maybe late 40-ish, fake red-haired, unmasked Karen approached me. I have very good peripheral vision and situational awareness, so I knew she was there even before she uttered a single word from her heavily made-up food processor. This woman was dressed to the nines and looked like she should have been shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue instead of at a discount grocery store.
Excuse me?
I moved my cart thinking she needed to get by me.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, did you need something?
Took you long enough to acknowledge me. That's not how you treat a customer. customer.
I thought she was kidding. Then I realized she was serious. I could feel my anxiety spiking, but I at the same time relished the opportunity of roasting this obviously entitled woman who clearly has never had to work a day in her life. You must be confused. I don't work here, lady.
Of course you do. You're wearing a blue shirt.
I'm wearing a t-shirt with an inscription on it, torn shorts and sneakers. How on earth do I look like an employee to you? I moved out from behind my cart and straightened out my shirt so she could read it. Her expression changed as she started to look embarrassed. Whether it was sheer refusal to admit she was wrong or foolish pride, she ended up choosing to double down on her entitled logic.
If you don't help me, I'm getting your manager.
Oh, for God's sake. Are you stupid as well as rude? I just told you, I don't work here. Other shoppers turned and looked, then sidled away or disappeared down nearby aisles. Side note, I've learned that if you embarrass the hell out of these entitled wank stains, they usually back off. In this case, it seemed to be working. Her face had started to turn red and there was still no employee in sight. I'm shopping for groceries, just like you. Also, you should have a mask on. Commence entitled rant about the virus being a hoax and how masks are an infringement upon her right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. She really said that, capping it all off with a jab at me for not being a free thinker like her. This message is brought to you by Turning Point USA. Oh my god, lady, you are nuts! It's clear based on how you're dressed that you're well off. Apparently having money can't buy you class. Seriously, learn how to treat people with respect, you you flying bison. There we go. Evidently, no one had ever called her out on her entitled behavior before because her jaw hit the floor. I shouldn't add ski to the ends of words in the stories. I turned my cart around and headed into the opposite direction as she hurled obscenities at my back. I finished my grocery shopping without further incident. Rather than have to deal with the long lines at self-checkout, I went to a register. Guess who I saw giving a front-end customer service associate an earful? Dun dun dun! Karen.
That's him! That's the little bundle of sticks used for fuel! I want him fired!
I had paid and was pushing my cart past them. Ma'am, he doesn't work here and there's no need for that kind of language. If you don't calm yourself, you will be escorted out. Sir, are you alright? I'm fine. To Karen. Congratulations! Your gaydar works. You're right, I am. Mostly because I don't want to be linked to a whore, like you, through a kid I never wanted. She gasped with an intake of air and started to turn so red I swore I thought she was gonna blow a gasket. Or the mailman. I spoke before she could start another rant. How ignorant do you have to make yourself look before you finally accept that you messed up? I point at the rock on her finger. Give your husband my condolences and tell him I said, hey! Adding this because some people can't seem to comprehend that a person can lower or lift a mask. I detached my mask from one side to deliver the final blow. I winked and lipped my lips. I think that finally did it because she kept her mouth shut and looked like her ego had been deflated. I can't speak for everyone in earshot, but I got a glimpse of the customer service associate's face as I walked away, and he was trying so hard not to bust out laughing. I left the store and loaded up my car. On the drive home, I called my retired Irish-Italian auntie in New York to tell her what had happened. She cracked up. Her response?
That's my boy!
Edit! Some of you have pointed out that there was no way Karen could have seen me lick my lips if I had a mask on. This makes me think of those Ben Shapiro memes, where it's like,
ha, liberal, you thought I couldn't take a dump because I have pants on? Well, guess what, liberal? I took my pants off and then I took a dump. Checkmate.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, when I don't need to wear it, I keep it tied to a belt loop so I don't end up losing or misplacing it. How is this relevant? It's not. I removed my mask early to stick the knife in. If you ask me, I thought thought Karen more than deserved it. Edit 2! For those who wanted to see a picture of my doggo, here you go. Edit 3! For those insisting that this didn't happen, I live in the Deep South, in a very conservative area. The attitude of this homophobic Karen is far more common than one would expect. All she had to do was accept her error and move on. She chose not to do that, so I roasted and humiliated her. Done. Alright, this story's called My Lunch Lady Kept Me from Getting the Correct Meal After Taking Insulin. Oh, shoot. Hello, first post here, hope it fits. This happened today, so it's all fresh in my mind. I am a 16-year-old guy. I'm pretty normal. I play video games, hang out with friends, have a good job, all that. But the only abnormal thing about me is that I have type 1 diabetes. I've been diagnosed for about a bit more than a year and a half. I've kept good control over it, and the doctors are always impressed when I have a checkup. Bragging aside, I am a junior in a pretty small high school in the middle of Kansas. Wait, have you met the wizard? One of the things I do is take insulin 10 to 15 minutes before I eat, so it has time to go into effect. With the school lunch, there are two options, a chicken salad and a cheeseburger. I decided to go with the cheeseburger. I take my insulin and go up the line. There are two separate tables, each with two white to-go boxes with the food in them. I grab a box from the left table, and before I take 2 steps, my friend points out to me that that's the salad. I set the box back down and go to grab the other box, but the lunch lady shouts at me, "Hey, don't you dare!" I look at her, and she looks at me like I just slapped a puppy in the face. I ask what's wrong, and she said that I already grabbed the salad, so I have to take the salad. Note, I didn't even open the box. I explained to her that I'm a diabetic and already took insulin. She shakes her head and says in a sickly sweet tone, "I'm sorry, that's not my problem. Take the salad and go sit down, now." I tried once more to tell her the situation, but she just pointed at the salad table and tells me to take the salad or I don't get anything. I'm a little pissed at this point, so I take the salad and go off to my table with my friends and tell them the situation. They removed the vending machines in the cafeteria over the summer, so there was no way for me to get the correct amount of carbs without stealing another kid's cheeseburger. One of my friends tells me I should go get the principal quickly before the insulting fully sets in. I go to the office and tell him and the counselor the situation, a little panicked because it had been well over 10 minutes since I took the insulin. I'm very tight with the principal, so he walked me back up to the cafeteria and talked to the lunch lady. He tells her, "Lunch lady, give him the cheeseburger. He really needs it."
But he already took a salad. He can deal with it.
Principal just sighs, grabs the cheeseburger box, and shoved it into my hands and tells me to go sit down. I listen to him and walk back to the table. I sit relatively close to the lunch line, so I and my friends can barely hear the principal talk to her. "How you acted was truly out of line. I thought you understood to treat his and other diabetic kids' situation with care and understanding." He went on for another minute and ended up just telling her off and heading back to his office. I ate in peace. I'm glad that she got told off, and maybe she'll know better next time. Yes, this is like, man, see, before I used to be like super orderly or whatever, like, oh, authority exists for a reason, people should, like, I never like at all questioned, authority. If someone who has a semblance of authority over me says something, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, that's how it is. I mean, unless it's like parents, because that's a different thing. All right, this story's called Karen Calls the Police Because I Passed a Stopped Bus. That was on a different street. This isn't as extreme as most of the others, but I did want to tell it. A couple of years ago, when I was dropping my daughter off at in-home daycare, I drove by a stopped bus. However, the stopped bus was on a different road than I was. They were on a side road. When I parked and got out to get my daughter out of her car seat, Karen yelled at me from her SUV.
"Hi, didn't Didn't you see the bus?
It was on a different street.
You could have killed someone.
It was on a different street.
I'm calling the police.
Go ahead. She drove off on her phone while I went inside. I did call the police later to confirm the situation. He informed me that I was correct and I don't have to stop for a bus on a different street. He also let me know that unless the bus driver also called about someone illegally passing a bus, I had nothing to worry about. But what if? Okay, I'm not gonna go into it. Okay, I have to. What if? All right, someone does, and it matches OP's car's description. Only because Karen was so determined to make this guy suffer that she stole a car identical to his, passed the bus, had the dude guy reported in. Boom. OP busted. But then Karen doesn't account for something. A crafty agent from the DHS. Big conspiracy. It goes deep. I'm not at liberty to discuss it though. However, I'll give you the conclusion-ish. She's tried for treason. OP could have gotten the Medal of Honor, but due to some poor decision-making by a few different parties, not gonna point any fingers, he's forced into exile. Bus driver, witness protection. Wanna know the worst part of all? That bastard was behind this whole damn thing, and we can't even do a damn thing about it.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.